Okay. Hello guys. Today we'll look into very important topic that is what is BDD. So the long form for the BDD is a behavior driven development. So it's a software development approach that combines the principle of test driven development and the domain driven development. So the BDD aims to improve the communication among the developers, tester, and the business stakeholders by focusing on the behavior of the applications from the user's perspective. So like behavior driven development is a very unique concept, whereas it with the help of the BDD approach, it actually understand the stakeholder, what's the functionalities been, how it tested, and if certain modifications needs to do in the certain the functionality, then with the help of a BDD approach or the whatever the tool it is and into which the test case has been written, to understand those test cases very easily to the stakeholder. It's been very easy to stakeholders or the developers as well, or the to tester to write the test cases is very easy in the domain of BDD approach, which means that if we use a BDD approach, then developers can easily understand how to like develop a certain functionality. Stakeholder can easily understand what is the functionality and what needs to be like modified if needed into the functionality. So all in all, we can say that it's a very simple and like understanding approach to the technical as well as the non-technical personalities, to gain or understand the like current functionality and what's to needs to do as per the client's requirement. So um, so first of all, we have to understand what's the the high level processes are going to work. That first of all, client suggest some of the functionality to the, or the stakeholder suggests some of the functionality to the developer or the tester. So in one of the meeting, they decided, or with the help of the BAs decided, that we have to develop certain functionality in a certain manner, and based on the approval of the documentation, with the help of that documentation, testers are going to write the test cases. Based on the test cases, developer are going to develop the functionality. But many times what will happen that the stakeholder does not understand what's the code logic is, and what is going on in the code and how the functionality is actually work, or stakeholder doesn't understand the whole area or the whole development coverage. So he also doesn't understand the format of the test cases, because everyone's the test case format is different. So in this glitch, or in this gap between the developer, tester, and the stakeholder, behavior driven development plays a very important role. So how it plays a very important role. So first of all, we have to like understand, or first of all we have to use certain tools which supports the behavior driven development methodology, and in market there are a number of tools present over there. So in couple of minutes we'll definitely look into those tools as well. But all in all, high level process happen in such like that, with the help of that flow, we are going to, or the tester is going to write the test cases in a certain way. So what are those certain way, will definitely look as well. So like tester will write the test cases in a certain way in BDD style. Then like developer develop the functionality, tester will write the test case, and based on that, automation test engineer apply those like the automation code against those mentioned test step, and they will create a loop in a such a way that whatever the code has been written, whatever the behavior has been written in the test case, that functionality or that behavior they are going to automate on the certain functionality, and that's how stakeholder understand that, oh, that's the functionality, and when they are going to actually automate certain functionality, then they can understand that, yeah, this is the functionality and this is the automation code on which developed site is going to work, or we can automate that functionality with the help of BDD approach, and we can, or the stakeholder can easily understand that there are some of the issues, or there are some of the modifications need to be done. Okay, so there are key concept of the BDD. So first is the focus on the behavior. So there are multiple types of methodologies like a TDD and the DDD. They focus on their individual points, but the behavior driven development emphasizes writing the test case on the language that non-technical stakeholder can also understand, which means that the BDD behavior or the BDD approach majorly focus on the behavior of the functionality. And when the tester or the developer or stakeholder understand that behavior, they can easily understand what's the functionality is going on, what and what needs to be do. Either we have to appreciate or deprecate some of the functionality. Okay, collaboration. So BDD encourage the collaboration among the developer, tester, and the business stakeholder to define the expected behavior of the software. So initially what will happen that in previous or the traditional methodologies, there is a certain gap between developer, tester, and the stakeholder to understand the what's the exact functionality they have to like have a bit of knowledge in their own expert, like in own domain as well as in different domains, like they have to have some code knowledge, they have to have some how should be the test case writing methodologies going on, and based like combination of like both the processes they need to understand, and then they got to know that, yeah, that's the functionality. But like when we adopt the BDD approach, then what will happen, then the developer understand that, okay, that's a these are the types of the test cases, and with the help of that behavior we have to develop the functionality. Tester understand that, okay, that's the particular document, based on that we have to convert that functionality into BDD style test cases. And business stakeholder understand that, oh, that's the test cases written by the tester in a BDD style, and those are very very effective to understand it. And based on that test step only, automation test engineer is going to write the automation code which supports the behavior of the written test cases. Okay, so in this way the entire loop is going to created among the developer, tester, and the stakeholder to understand what's the exact functionalities. Okay, the use of a natural language. So here BDD has a certain like domain specific language, which we can say that it's use a Gherkin language, and it's a very very simple language. Before that, before any sentence, we have to use a simple keywords like a given, when, and then. Okay, so let's suppose I'm going to give you one example for the login functionality. So here, given user provide appropriate configurations to the system, when user put the valid credentials, and user, and is also one type of a keyword which we can use it into the Gherkin language, and user hit login button, and then, so then is also keyword, then the user reach to the correct home page or not. Okay, so that kind of Gherkin language, or with the help of Gherkin language, we can write the test cases, and post that developer understand, based on that behavior we have to develop the functionality. And stakeholder understand that, okay, with the help of, like, according to the mentioned BDD style test cases, the development has been done. Okay, so with the help of that, we can either write the positive as well as negative test cases as well. Okay, so tools and the framework. So BDD supports by various tools and the frameworks. So like very powerful tool is, we can say that the Cucumber out there in market. So like likewise SpecFlow, JBehavior, BHAT is also some of the tools that support the BDD methodology. So one thing is to know that the BDD is not entirely Cucumber, or Cucumber is not entirely a BDD. Okay. However, Cucumber is a tool which supports the BDD methodology. So BDD, behavior driven development is a methodology. It has its own process, sub process, flow, or we can say it's a it's a complete package of the methodology how process um, should work, whether it should be a SDLC or SDLC, software development or software testing life cycle. So, and for that methodology, Cucumber is a tool which supports that kind of a methodology. So we can say Cucumber is a tool which supports the BDD methodology. Okay. So benefit of BDD, that is a behavior driven development. It's a improved communication. So we know that with the help of the BDD, like it's like a it 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 minimize the gap between the developer, tester, and the stakeholders. Clear requirement. With the help of behavior driven development, we can get the clear and unambiguous specification of how system should work. Okay, so we can get to know, like we can get an absolute idea about how the system should work, what are the flows, and we can actually get a gap, and with the help of that we can directly communicate with the developers, and also developers also communicate with the tester that yeah, these are some of the gap, what should we do in this certain case, and then like a tester will again communicate with the BAs and understand the functionality, or the product owner to understand the functionality, and they can develop certain like functionality around the same. So early detection of the issue. So we know that with the help of Cucumber, we are going to write the test cases, and we are going to perform the smoke testing, regression testing around the same. So if we are going to run the smoke testing, regression testing around the mentioned the functional flow, we can easily detect the early, like easily detect the bug in early early stage of the development life cycle. So it's very important point. Then the living documentation. BDD scenarios acts as a living documentation that evolves with the system, always reflecting the current functionality. So it's very important point that whenever any kind of a development is going to happen, we are going to write the test cases, and whatever the test cases we have that published by the product owner or the client side or stakeholder, then the development is going to happen. So everybody knows that the BDD is a kind of a documentation that actually or relevant functionality is actually present into the production side. So we can say that it's a prominent documentation to consider. So that's a very very important point in the behavior driven development. So as of now we learn about the what's the BDD benefits and the key aspect of the behavior driven development. So yeah, we'll in couple of in next couple of videos we'll definitely look into some of the important concept in the software testing uh, domain. Yeah, thank you so much.